You won't believe how the latest research is changing everything we thought we knew about addiction. Imagine struggling with an overwhelming compulsion, feeling powerless to control your own actions despite the damage it's causing. This is the reality for millions battling addiction. But groundbreaking discoveries are revolutionizing our understanding of this complex disease and offering new hope for those affected. Recent studies have uncovered fascinating insights into the neurobiology of addiction that are transforming how we view and treat substance use disorders. Researchers have identified specific genetic markers linked to addiction susceptibility, opening doors for more targeted interventions. This genetic connection helps explain why addiction tends to run in families, shedding light on a long-observed pattern. Scientists are now tracing the intricate brain changes caused by chronic drug use, providing a roadmap for developing more effective treatments. These studies reveal how prolonged substance abuse essentially rewires neural pathways, prioritizing drug-related memories and cravings. This helps explain why breaking free from addiction is so challenging. It's not just about willpower, but about reversing deep-seated changes in brain function. The impacts of addiction on the developing adolescent brain are particularly concerning. A recent study found that internet addiction in young people alters brain chemistry in ways that could lead to further addictive behaviors. The research showed changes in multiple neural networks, including decreased connectivity in areas responsible for executive control. This highlights the vulnerability of the adolescent brain and the importance of early intervention. Importantly, viewing addiction as a brain disease rather than a moral failing is reducing stigma and improving access to treatment. This shift in perspective recognizes addiction as a chronic medical condition with similarities to diseases like diabetes or hypertension. Like these other disorders, addiction is influenced by a complex interplay of genetic, developmental, behavioral, and environmental factors. Advances in neuroscience have already led to several effective medications for treating alcohol, opioid, and nicotine use disorders. And ongoing clinical trials are exploring promising new interventions. For example, researchers are investigating innovative neuromodulation techniques that could potentially alter dysfunctional brain circuits involved in addiction. The evolving understanding of addiction's neurobiology is also informing new approaches to prevention. By identifying risk factors and brain changes associated with substance use, we may be able to intervene earlier and more effectively. Large-scale studies like the Adolescent Brain Cognitive Development Project are poised to yield unprecedented insights into how substance use impacts adolescent brain development. But questions remain. We still have much to learn about the factors that facilitate long-term recovery and how the brain changes over the course of recovery. More research is needed to understand the neurobiological processes that enable people to maintain changes in substance use behavior and build resilience against relapse. It's important to note that while the brain disease model of addiction has advanced our understanding, it's not without criticism. Some argue it may inadvertently create a new form of stigma or lead to feelings of helplessness. However, proponents emphasize that the model doesn't disregard psychosocial factors, but rather attempts to explain how environment and individual differences contribute to addiction as a brain disease. Ultimately, the brain disease model of addiction has greatly contributed to destigmatizing substance use disorders and developing more effective treatments. As our knowledge of the neurobiology of addiction continues to grow, so too does hope for those affected by this challenging condition. The journey to understand and treat addiction is filled with both breakthroughs and ongoing challenges. But with each new discovery, we move closer to more effective prevention strategies and treatments. For those struggling with addiction and their loved ones, these advances